Hey, good afternoon. Good afternoon. Welcome to another one of the weekly mindset reset. I want to say thank you everyone for listening in. I'm gonna go straight to the point because I'm a little crunched for time, trying to get this recording in, and unfortunately, the way my schedule kind of went about, I didn't really get to knock this out in advance like I normally do. That said, go ahead and click the like and the bell button right down below so that way you can go ahead and get an introduction to me, of course, right? You get that great handsome face again. But also you get the bell button that lets you know when I'm online again. That way you can go ahead and get all the new content that I drop as well. So that said, welcome to another week of Mindset Reset. We're gonna go ahead and get straight to the point because this one's gonna be very pointed and I wanna just really get into detail now. This one's going to be probably something that we've already covered before, but I'm just going to do broad strokes to it because today was one of the days where the Fed had another decision to make, and I've touched on this before, so I'm going to go ahead and pull up some of the notes from a couple of times when we actually covered that. Let me bring up that presentation. All right, boom. Whenever it does so, there we go. All right, so you already know mine. So we have Wednesday wisdom for weekend wins, and so on and so on. I'm going to be changing that up a little bit. So we talked about when they make these decisions. The Fed has a tendency on doing a lot of things as far as tossing it around. The reason why I made y'all do a almost like a practical awareness last time was to kind of bring some broad strokes into it, right? So last week we talked about practical awareness. We talked about the seed, planting the seed, and how farmers react to the market and everything else, and what's the whole entire futures market and what do you do in planning. So if you need to check out that video, I'm gonna go ahead and put the link above so that way you can check that video out. But you gotta plan everything out. So this year we started off, and to give a quick recap, we started off talking about what we want to be able to put a list of 300 items. 300. I know it's going to be tough after number 75, of getting to the point of knowing what do you want, what is your goals, what are you attaining. It's going to be it was our vision board, vision list, vision plan, whatever you want to call it. Make it your own when it's all said and done. And a lot of people participated on Saturday, and we really knocked out a whole bunch of different ideas. Each one kind of reach one and teach one of certain things that they would want. Like we kind of talked about buying a plot of land and being able to help others and everything else. Like we really got ourselves into what will be our goal, and if you write it down, you make it plain. But that doesn't just stop there, right? I think we got to some people got to up to the hundreds, right? A couple were in the 200s. I think just a few got to that 300, but they're getting close to that 300 when it's all said and done. But I want you to kind of take apart this, right? The Fed has to do almost that same thing. They probably have a list of 300 things that they have to do to go ahead and cut through to make sure that this inflation drops down when it's all said and done. So understanding the decision. Why is it important? Why do they have to do this? This is the economy. This is how me, you, everyone lives when it's all said and done. And if the economy is destroyed, then you are suffering. And the last thing we want to do is go into the Great Depression. We had the Great Recession. We got really close, but with the due diligence and the tools that the Fed executed, yes, inflation kind of played a part. Yes, things are more expensive than they ever been, but at the end of the day, their goal was for people to not stop working. There was times where businesses just shut the door. They made their money. They were good. They could still buy stuff, but then they just shut out the entire population, and that is not what we're trying to get to. So when you look at that, you want to make sure that you understand the decision, what they're trying to do, what their plans are, and just how it affects your mindset when it's all said and done. You can't really relatively control. Now, the market impact in itself, this is probably what was the most craziest thing today, because when the Fed decision came up, the FOMC, you already seen how the market spiked in one direction. It basically was the market repositioning themselves based on the information that was presented in front of them. And if you're a technical analysis like myself, you was more reactionary to all the details that was coming in through the charts, more than actually what J. Powell particularly said. So I want you to kind of understand market impact, and if you were affected adversely, You didn't make no money because you did not know that the news was coming. Now, understand this. I'm going to get to my list. You got to know what type of climate that you're playing in. So if you were up like 100% and you gave all that money back, listen, that is not the market's fault. That falls on you because you're not doing your due diligence. You disrespect the market will show you what can happen. And the last thing I want is for everyone to lose money when it's all said and done. So you got to understand the market impact. And also avoid FOMO. If you lost money throughout this, and I know I'm kind of keying off on losing money, right? And if you got caught in the FOMO part of it when it's all said and done, because you saw an opportunity and it looked like it's going to go in that way, or it was such a big candle, you was like, I got to get a piece of this, and you got caught in that. That is another thing that you have to point the finger at you. Now, only if you want things to change in your portfolio, you got to take a look at the man in the mirror and make that change, because at the end of the day, there is no one that can hold you accountable except you. After this YouTube video is done, after the Zoom screens are over and whatever trading floor that you want, the only person that goes in and triage everything is you. I'm not going to go deep into adaptive rate change because there was no really rate change, and your role to the market response. So the market responded very, very, very bearishly towards the end. There was some spikes where it was bullish. I call that letting their friends off the elevator. That's just my opinion. But when it's all said and done, how you respond to the market and what is your role in the market comes with proper planning again. All right, everything that I'm saying here, it goes back to our practical awareness. It goes back to our challenge that we have for this year. It goes back to you, because only you click the button. No one makes you click the button except you. So your role in the market is to be able to be the guppy that's following the sharks, and when they start chomping some of the weaker fish that's out there, the dumb money, the impatient money, that you can catch a few crumbs along the way, and you can strengthen yourself to become that shark later on. Okay, so that is your role in the market, and I want y'all to be completely sound with that until you get to a certain level in your career. All right, need mindset resilience. Again, okay, let me not say it again because I don't want to feel like I'm pointing fingers at those that you know what type of market this is, or you didn't. You jumped in with FOMO, or you did. I don't want to get. If you had made any dollar out of the market as well, I want you to have the mindset resilience. That volatility, it only happens during that time when it's all said and done. I want you as an individual, to work on that resilience. Go back, triage. What were you thinking? How were you feeling? What did you do? Was it successful? Was it not? I want you to write it down. And then if you have multiple journals, I have 3, right? I have a daily journal just for my personal. I have a journal for how my feelings are in the market in particular. And then I have a journal that has all my trading strategies and everything else. I want you to take your personal journal, and I want you to kind of like really write down your emotions, meditate on it, so that way you can know how can you be more sound, so that way you can make these successful situation. You're only going to callous the mind with repetition. You gotta practice this. So that means you gotta keep on writing. I have a quote here that I used before, right? Your mindset is the most important factor in your success. A positive, growth-oriented mindset is the best investment you can make. You can't invest it by saying I'll result it to memory. I don't have Alzheimer's or anything like that, and God forbid that ever happens. But what if you can't remember everything that happened? What if you can't remember that strategy that was successful? What if you can't even remember today and you made 100 ticks, you made 100%, you made $1,000, you made $10,000? How are you going to replicate that unless you have mindset resilience? And nothing's more resilient than writing down the situation that you face with proper journaling and making sure that you understand what are your keys of success. All right, so that said, I want to go ahead and get back to this list. This is the list that I always leave y'all with, and I'm going to be quick with this because of course I got some more that I want to tell y'all. Self-awareness and emotional check-ins, very key. Today was probably the best time for you to practice that. Today I was actually working on an evaluation because I made a couple of mistakes, blew up my funded account, I'm upset with myself, but at the end of the day, I had to make sure I could get myself back into that threshold. So in my eval, I played it open. I realized that my emotional check-in was not sound because I was working and trading, and that ended up being blown. So it's like I'm trying to get myself more sound to that self-awareness and emotion. I'm still human. You know what I'm saying? I'm probably thinking, oh, all these coaches and everything else, these gurus, they always talking about how much they win and everything else. Listen, I've taken losses, and right now I'm gonna have to start over with one of my accounts. All right, journaling and reflective analysis. I'm about to write down my reflective analysis. I could have did better. I could have did 10 times better. And unfortunately, I did not. So I'm going to journal it so that way I never revisit it again and make sure I know what emotions I had. Setting boundaries and limits. I did set a boundary, but I exceeded my limits. And that was where I fell. Educate yourself in market climates. I was aware of the market climate. So when I actually got my other account and I reset, I went ahead and waited till the market kind of let the dust settle, and I was able to be positive in my day on my current account. So I'm looking to get this thing funded no later than next week. Scenario planning, that goes back to what I'm planning with this account. I'm looking to get this thing funded. Diversification, portfolio rebalancing. There's nothing to rebalance. I didn't really have green. I'm going through my test again, trying to get myself evaluated and get my account again. And then mindfulness and meditation. I'm going to top off my day today with some mindfulness and meditation. I hope you do the same thing as well. That said, let me go ahead and shut this part of it down. Boom. Look, I know I kind of just revamped or kind of tweaked, but if you think about it, whenever the Jay Powell talks, whenever there's a decision to be made, especially interest rate decision, we're going to get that quarterly. I just want to kind of recenter everybody, because the purpose of mindset is for us to come to equilibrium so that way we can make objective purposes, right? Objective strategies, objective situations, objective, if it's a fair value gap or an imbalance, or if it's you want to go ahead and take a trade because of EMA crossover. I want you to have the most objective mindset so that way you can be able to attack the market with your supported data, so that way you can make profits, because the only way you're going to be consistent is because you're going to take exactly the same situation consistently over and over again. Where we sway, where we move is based on our emotions, and that's why I always do mindset reset for y'all. So today was probably one of those, if there's anything that was going to trigger a mix of emotions, it's today, right? So I want you to take today, I want you to write the notes to it, and I want you to be successful. How did you feel? You got the list. Did you actually respect the market climate? Did you do any mindfulness and meditation? All right. Those are the things I would love to leave y'all with. And at the end of the day, all you can do is just make yourself 1% better, like my boy Neo says. And I want y'all to start with just your own mindset. I'll take this time to go ahead and just let y'all know, hit the like, subscribe, and the bell button down below as well. If you don't have a community, come check out Cheat Code. We have free trading floors. We have a community that's very engaged, and you can learn a lot from us. It's totally free. If you want other tools, we do have some paid items as well. Don't forget to just hit me up on the DM. You know what I'm saying? Let me know if you're interested. By all means, I want to say thank you for taking the time and focusing on your mindset, and I will see you again next week. You have a great day.